Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Ann-Kio. Now, this week, attention is focused on Nigeria's upcoming Democracy Day. But for many, the spotlight ought to be on the fragility of that democracy and what they say is the threat of extinction that power of the people faces. June 12th, of course, rather than May 29th, far more symbolic of democracy in the Nigerian context, and even October the 1st, which is Nigeria's Independence Day, because June 12th was the date of the presidential election that took place in 1993, considered to be the freest and fairest ballot in Nigeria's history. But it was subsequently and inexplicably annulled by the military ruler, General Ibrahim Babangida. But reacting to this week's democracy celebrations more than 30 years later, activists in Rivers State say President Tinubu's commemoration equally smacks of hypocrisy. They say that given the way he's wrested constitutional government away from the people of Rivers State, his commemorative gesture is clearly not out of genuine reverence for the principles of Nigeria's democracy. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by one of the notable pro-democracy voices out of Rivers State, Ann-Kio Briggs, who is a Niger Delta cultural, political and environmental commentator and an iconic human rights activist. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What are your thoughts about Nigeria's democracy the day ahead of its 26th celebration as a democratic nation?
I think it has become something of a ritual that a day before Democracy Day in Nigeria and then on the actual June 12th, we will discuss democracy, how far we have come with democracy and whether it's really working in Nigeria or it is not working in Nigeria. And sadly, the answer remains the same. It really doesn't matter whether it's President Tinubu, whether it was President Buhari. It is still the same answer that we will give and we do get, which is to say that democracy so far has not worked in Nigeria since independence.
Has not worked, or not worked the way that you'd like it to work?
No, not the way I like it to work, because it's very clear what a democracy is. It's very clear what we as Nigerians at independence decided to follow, if you like, in the sense that democracy is by the people, for the people, and therefore, and it's by the people because they decide who will govern them.
Well, it literally means power of the people.
Power of the people.
Yeah.
And so, if you look from independence till now, truthfully, if we want to be truthful to ourselves, we can't really say that democracy has worked in Nigeria. Now, whether it is true that each country or each continent or each set of people have their own type of democracy. So therefore, if democracy works in Ghana, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same democracy that is working in Nigeria, but they all claim that right. They are running a democratic government.
And that is in the macro sense. In the micro sense, looking at it from the point of view of what is happening and has happened in your state, Rivers State, does that bring a more sort of complex political dimension to Nigeria's democracy for you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, on the 18th of March, everything that we have believed about democracy was smashed in the way in which the state of emergency was declared. It's not that state of emergency has never been declared in Nigeria before, but what has not happened is that a democratically elected governor would be suspended like a high school or a primary school student who's misbehaved and is sent home for a week. That was our experience.
Yeah, bend over that chair. You're going to get 6 strokes of the cane.
Exactly. That was my experience of that, of what happened in River State, and is still happening in River State. Democratic processes were turned on its head. Now we're hearing that actually President Tinubu did us a favor by declaring a state of emergency. Well, to some people who are politicians, and which I am not, he may have done, but because I have not seen it and I don't understand it, I am yet to understand it. But if we all look back very quickly and we recall how Ibas was sworn in, and the process that the National Assembly went through.
And Ibas is the administrator.
Yes, he's
appointed.
Yes, he was appointed
after the governor was suspended.
After the governor was suspended, the process is that it will then go to the National Assembly, where the National Assembly will agree or disagree more or less with the president. In this case, they disagreed. They agreed, but they agreed after he had been sworn in. So basically, there was no need even to take it to the National Assembly, because right from the word go, there was nothing democratic about it. But what really, for me as a person, and knowing what happened on June 12th, the Abiola elections, knowing what happened then and seeing how this transpired, it was horrifying. But then when I look back now, and I also look at what's going on all over in places like America, for instance, where somebody like Donald Trump is literally thrown Americans into exactly what
people would argue that's what's happening in Los Angeles.
I wrote somewhere, I posted something that what's happening in California is America's River State is what is actually going on in California.
It's almost similar,
literally, because he's supposed to consult the governor. Yeah. And that's the democratic way of doing it.
He didn't imposed his federal might.
He just called on
California.
them. Yeah. And what's sad for me is that Tinubu is associated, if you like, with the NADECO movement, and therefore associated with the fight for democracy. And he did do his best when he was governor. And I think even when he was governor, he was actually observing June 12th, I think, in his state, with something to do with democracy. So it gave you the impression that, yes, this gentleman understood what NADECO fought for.
Right.
But I have a feeling, and it is my feeling, that he has around him people who don't understand or don't understand, not didn't, because they were not around him during the NADECO era, who didn't understand what he fought for. And so it's very easy for these people to if you like, advise him in areas that turn out to be undemocratic, which in a way is not doing him any good. He may not have meant the things that is going on in his name right now.
Well, I mean, he was advised by his attorney general and people like that it is perfectly constitutional to go ahead and do it. And the attorney general's made that argument subsequently. But I mean, does it look at all like the state of emergency is going to end anytime soon? I mean, does it look like it's going to go the whole 6 months?
That would be horrifying.
Well, I mean, it was in March.
Yes.
April, May, June.
Yeah, June, 3 months.
Well, 3 months.
We're halfway through 6 months. And why I say it will be horrifying is that if it goes the whole 6 months, then where then is the guarantee that they wouldn't advise him to
extend it?
And that would be very, very dangerous. Even now, it is dangerous.
But I mean, the argument's been made that because democracy belongs to the people, it's almost incumbent upon them to resist, you know. But I mean, it does look as if the people in Rivers State have come to accept it, or is it a case of having to accept?
I don't believe that everybody in Rivers State has come to accept. The majority of the people of Rivers State
Couldn't be bothered, really.
do not accept that. But the pressure to make it seem, and the impression that is being given, is that it is being accepted, and in the sense that it will be lifted. Someone like me, I'm not such an optimist when things that should not happen were allowed to happen. I become very pessimistic, because if it was allowed to happen, then who says that it's not going to continue? And if you recall, a lot, I mean, we've done a lot. Rivers people have done a lot to express the fact that this is unacceptable to us. It is not right for the state. The state is suffering. A lot of things have just stood still. There is a road where I come from. It's called the Trans-Calabari Road. Now, that's a road that every governor has promised to build and have not built. And the governor of Rivers State, Similai Fobra, has already kicked it off. And yet, all of a sudden, this has come to an end, because nothing is happening. And so that's very worrisome, because that's personal. So governance is about what are the deliverables that you're going to get at the end of a tenure. And if you don't get that, then you have not gotten anything out of that government. And so what's happening in Rivers State, is it because Governor Similai Fobra is a peaceful man by nature, and the pressure on him to be seen, if you like, to be flowing with politics as is. It doesn't necessarily have to be right, as the way politics is played in Nigeria. But then I've referenced America, because when I watch it, I'm horrified, because I'm thinking to myself, if that's happening in America, then who says that it can't continue in Nigeria? And that's why
why resistance is the way to. I mean, but aren't you disappointed that Governor Fubara seems to have abdicated that responsibility? I mean, he said openly, like, "Hey, just let me be."
Well, yes, I was there when he said that, and
I mean, were you shocked, disappointed, astonished?
I think all.
Disappointed?
I didn't understand it, but then I came to look at it as a political statement. This is politics, because I mean, this cannot be a real thing for everybody.
We've got a couple more minutes. Sorry, time runs so fast before we have to end the chat. But given all this, how do you reckon Democracy Day will be marked in Rivers State? I mean, from your perspective as a pro-democracy activist, and for the people of the state.
It will be marked the same way it has always been marked. Statements will be made Perhaps Ibas will make a statement, even though he is not democratically there. He may also make a statement. The governor of Rivers State may also make a statement. The president will make a statement. It's not the statements that we're interested in. It's the reality, it's the real that we are interested in. But we will wait and see what the president will say. But I do hope that the president, being someone who's described himself and projected himself before and now as a Democrat, which some of us begin to doubt because of the thing to do with Rivers State and some other things, I do hope that Democracy Day will be indeed Democracy Day for the people of Rivers State, because I think we deserve it by now. And that means that I hope that in the president's speech, that
you think he might wave a magic wand in that speech?
Where he waved, he waved,
say the state of emergency is lifted.
He waved the magic wand on the 18th of May when
so
he suspended
unwave
it. He can wave it and lift the suspension, and Ibas can go back to his retired normal life.
Well, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would indeed.
Ann-Kio Briggs, I want to thank you very much indeed. It's always a delight to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
She is, of course, a notable pro-democracy voice out of Rivers State, a Niger Delta cultural, political and environmental commentator, and an iconic, if I might say so myself, human rights activist. Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you.
That's it.